Let me begin this video by saying yes, I believe the Yankees need a new manager. A new manager can change the entire energy of a team, and one thing that a good manager does is that he gets the most out of his players. With so many Yankees struggling to make improvements at the plate and in the field, I think it's fair to say that a new manager could have a better impact. That being said, most baseball reporters that I've seen so far seem to think Aaron Boone will be back with the Yankees, but possibly with an entirely new coaching staff, save for Matt Blake. If the Yankees decide to go in a new direction, here are 5 candidates that were suggested by you, the audience, and why I think they could be a good fit. Number 5, Willie Randolph. There's something to be said for having experience winning in New York. Willie not only won with the Yankees as a player in the late 70s, but he was also a coach on the late 90s dynasty teams. He was a heck of a third base coach, if I recall correctly. He was also a good infielder, and his years of experience could help guys like Gleyber Torres to become better at fielding their position. Besides, I think it would be fun to see a manager coach third again, Tommy Lasorda style, and I can see Willie Randolph doing that.
The luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Number 4, Carlos Beltran. The commenters also suggested Carlos Beltran, a former Yankees player and executive who was actually hired by the Mets prior to the Astros cheating scandal breaking, in which it was reported that Carlos Beltran was involved. He lost the Mets job and really hasn't been seen since. Personally, I like Carlos Beltran, but I don't think that the Yankees want to bring in elements from the 2017 Astros, either on the field or in the manager's office. It would just be bad publicity and anger too many fans. Although he would probably do a nice job.
The most famous baseball player of all time, Babe Ruth.
Number 3, Buck Showalter. Buck Showalter came up as a manager through the Yankee system and helped guide them to the playoffs in 1995. Showalter has 20 years of managerial experience with the Yankees, the expansion Arizona Diamondbacks, the Texas Rangers, and finally the Baltimore Orioles. He's made the playoffs a number of times but has not won the big one. He doesn't strike me as a guy who's going to get pushed around by the analytical department. He's a detail-oriented, fundamental-first manager, which I think would be a nice addition because the Yankees had their issues with things like base running and defense in 2021, and those are the type of things that don't change over time. Sure, things like launch angle are kind of new, but things like running from second to third without getting thrown out are not. So a good manager with good experience could really help in that area. Number 2, Nsley Meulens. Another name that I've seen mentioned a lot in the comments is Nsley Bam Bam Meulens. He was a Yankees prospect at one time. He eventually made the major leagues, but he wasn't a great player. He was more of a journeyman type. He spent some time playing in Japan and Korea. He speaks 6 different languages. He began his major league coaching career as a hitting coach in 2010 with the Giants. Under his tutelage, they won 3 World Series in his first 5 years. They also had Madison Bumgarner. In 2017, the Yankees actually interviewed him for their manager position following the decision not to renew the contract of Joe Girardi. He was passed up for the job in favor of Aaron Boone, but ironically, the same thing could happen to Aaron Boone this season. He served as the Mets bench coach in 2020, but was fired after the season.
If you don't like it, you're fired. You haven't hired me yet.
Number 1, Don Mattingly, Donnie Baseball.
Now batting, number 23, Don Mattingly. Number 23.
That's a phrase I must have said to myself in the backyard thousands of times growing up. Don Mattingly is my all-time favorite baseball player. He was all about hustle, defense, focus, and setting a good example. His leadership gave birth to the professional mentality of young players like Bernie Williams, Derek Jeter, Jorge Posada, and Mariano Rivera. And as the Yankees prepare to welcome a new batch of baby bombers over the next few years, you'd love to see the next generation play with the same type of intensity and focus that Mattingly was once able to pass along to a dynasty in the making. He served as the Yankees hitting coach for a while, bench coach for a while. He's been managing the Miami Marlins for the last couple of years. He managed the Dodgers for a while. But he spent the last couple of years really managing his tail off in Miami. He was the 2020 Manager of the Year in the National League. Now, maybe I'm biased, but if I were the GM, 23 jerseys would be in print once again. And Don Mattingly would be back to get the ring as a manager that he never got to win as a player. Honorable mention, literally anyone. Pick a citizen at random and have them do exactly what the front office says to do. Why not? That's what Aaron Boone does. Which makes me wonder, should this video even be about the manager? Maybe it should be about the general manager. What top 5 video do you want me to do next? Leave it in the comments, and I will see you next time.